Hello, Rhode Island. This is Let Us Interrupt You here on Friday, April 7th, 2023. I am Joseph Olivo. Uh, at this point, this show being called Let Us Interrupt You at this point is kind of like just me at this point. It's just me interrupting your day. And I hope you don't mind if I interrupt your day. Anyway, I got that lame introduction out of the way there. There's some stuff we got to talk about. Unfortunately, uh, it's a non-sports related topic, so some people might be happy about it, some people might not be happy about it. It's debatable at this point, because there's a lot to get into today that was unsports related this week, and something that went completely randomly viral. And I don't know if this is real or not. I don't know if this is a real video, but apparently LeBron James was wearing a pink dress. I don't know if it was real. I don't want to believe that's real right now. I don't really know the exact answers on that really, because I didn't get a chance to read up on all of it today. So I will read it with you. There is WWE creative news today that we got to get into right now. Who's in balance of power? There's an investigation going out against Vince McMahon now after Endeavor purchased WWE for $21 billion. So I was wrong. It wasn't 21 million. It was $21 billion. That happened. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened this week that's been unsports related. Robert F. Kennedy announcing to run for president in 2024. Reese Witherspoon and Tom Brady dating rumors. Harvard students fearing for their life over being held at gunpoint. And my former high school just rewarded kids $75,000 for an assault settlement. I'll read more into that and more. And Don Lehman basically going completely from woke to, I don't know, unwoke, I would say at this point, sending threatening messages and all that. I have more and that moral story and more. Some of the sports stuff is being moved to tomorrow, so there'll be a 2-episode thing tomorrow. So this is the episode for today that's not sports related. Even though I'm going to bring up the Bruins and Red Sox in just a second here, and then we're just going to be completely off the grid from sports stuff. I'll save all the football stories and all that and my takes for tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to start off with the Red Sox from this week. They got the win yesterday, 6-3 over the Detroit Tigers. So good for them. They beat the Tigers. That's great. That's all well and good. This past week, though, they got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this doesn't stop me from ranting about this, but this is what I might take in the whole thing of this. You mean to tell me right now that you can't get by at home? By the way, you're at home when this is happening. You can't get by a franchise that has no future. Really, an owner that really gives a crap about baseball. He just wants that sport to die. A franchise that really is relying on prospects that completely are just, no one even knows who they are. You're bringing back a veteran who the only reason he came back there is because nobody else really wanted him. And I just have to say right now, if this is how this season's going to go, that you're going to lose to a team like this at home, where it's crucial, where it's important, that's not a good thing. You took 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. I'll give you props for that. Fine. You did that. But you can't get by against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Luckily, you beat the Tigers at home. You almost lost that game, too. You were down 3-0 in that game. So the fact you managed to get 6 runs out of it, look, it's great. And Jensen got his first save this week. Okay, I'll give, I thought I was going more on depth, like rant about this whole thing. But the more I think about it, it's kind of a waste of time. It really is, because this franchise doesn't care. Now, granted, I mean, they got the message from fans in that Winter Classic when the Penguins faced the Bruins a few months ago about their distastefulness for the owner and how they should really sign Devers to a long-term deal. But I feel like that was a mistake really for the Red Sox, because they're just more reliant on him at this point to perform. Otherwise, what the hell's the point? And, we just got some breaking news. Here we go. Right out of the gate here. I'm just getting some breaking news. Valparaiso set to hire Gonzaga's assistant coach Roger Powell Jr. as their next men's basketball coach. Completely random. I did not think this guy was actually set up for a head coaching gig. Valparaiso, who I got to be honest right now at this point, I don't think they've ever been in a tournament in a while. I really haven't been paying attention to their schooling. I didn't even think they even had a basketball program to begin with. I thought they always had football. But yeah, that's the sports breaking news of the day. I'll get more into that, I guess, tomorrow now too. That's being added to the story. So that is completely random. I did not expect that one to hit my show here as early as it did. Um, any other sports stuff right now? I probably should bring this up right now. The LIV golf tour could be dead. The ratings have been so bad at this point that no one's watching, that no one cares about it. But they all are watching the Masters that's on today. The Masters started yesterday and concludes this Sunday. I'll have my results for all that stuff right now going forward with that. But back to my Red Sox thought. Yesterday, Sale was the pitcher yesterday. He was not scheduled as the opening day pitcher. And I feel like that Chris Sale and Devers are the only positive thing about this franchise. Yes, Duvall had some walk-ups. He had a 3-run shot yesterday. Duvall's been the only bright, shining star in this whole thing as well. I didn't want to leave him out, but it's crazy because, I mean, yesterday, this is how it really went. Started out, they were down 2-0. Like, I thought they were down 3-0. Rogers and the Tigers had a 2-run shot, made it 2-0. Hernandez had reached on an infield single on a fielder's choice. Arroyos scored. McGuire was out at second. Cabrera had an RBI single which allowed Torskin to score. Devers had a solo home run in the fourth. Devers had an RBI double in the sixth, and Adam Duvall pretty much put this game away with that 3-run shot, which allowed Yoshida and Devers to score. Sale yesterday was pretty good yesterday in his performance yesterday. Went 5 innings. Not so great of a day for him yesterday. He had 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 earned runs, 4 hits. Sale was decent yesterday in his performance. I wouldn't say he was at his best yesterday, but he was pretty good for the most part in this game. As far as Detroit goes, Detroit was pretty good in this game. You had Turnbull, who got his second loss of the year. Went 5 2/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 homer allowed, and 1 strikeout allowed. So Turnbull is now 0-2. The Tigers dropped to 2-5 on the season. So far this season, Duvall has been a difference maker for this team. Yoshida has been a difference maker for this team, and Devers has been a difference maker to this team. Turner is just there. I mean, I don't think he's really contributing that much personally. I think he's getting on base and he's doing what he has to do. But Duvall and Yoshida have caught my attention. So is Devers. That is a team right now at this point that could be lucky to get this team to the playoffs right now at this point. It needs to be a whole team effort at this point. I'm sorry. It has to be. And Turner was signed to be a team player. Not a guy who somewhat contributes and just, is just there. He's got to do more. He's got to be the one that is going to be clutch, hit walk-off homers, walk-off RBI singles, doubles, or whatever he's got to do. He's got to do it. It's the only way I can let this slide. What a week, though, it's been for a baseball start so far. Yesterday, I'm going to continue on with the scores right now. Blue Jays beat the Kansas City Royals 6-3. The Royals, surprisingly, are 1-6 on the season to start out, which lets me know who are we kidding here. It's not that surprising. The Royals stink. The Giants beat the White Sox 16-6. The game before that one, I believe, or I think was it Wednesday to start out the series? Or it was Wednesday, yeah. So they won. They lost 7-3, and it was Tuesday. I think it was like 12-3. I think it was yesterday. They had a 3 or 4 game series, I believe. It might have even been a 3 game series. But anyway, it was. Or it might have been a 2 game series. I don't even know. I don't even see the schedule scoring on here. But anyway. Yankees are 4-2. Let's get a look at the Major League standings at this point. So the Rays swept the Nationals. We got that already. The Rays are 6-0. The Yankees are 4-2. Blue Jays are 4-3. The Orioles are 3-3, and the Red Sox are 3-4. Not that far behind the Orioles and the Blue Jays. Really, only really a game back of the Orioles, and really a game back of Toronto. The Rays are surprisingly right now on fire at this point. 6-0 to start the season out. I don't think anybody expected them to do this good. I sure as hell didn't. But it was an interesting afternoon for the Giants yesterday. They spanked the White Sox, literally spanked this team, 16-6. This was not even close. I mean, the White Sox were already roasted done at that point. The Braves yesterday got a walk-off win over the San Diego Padres. They dropped down to 3-4. The Padres. The Braves won 7-6. It was Orlando Arcia who basically got who had a homer yesterday in the third. And Arcia was really the pinnacle in this whole thing. Had an RBI walk-off single to put the game away in a 7-6 win. Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks 5-2. The Marlins and Mets were postponed yesterday. They have a doubleheader starting today. You got Rockies and Nationals that were on last night. Rockies won 1-0. The Nationals are now 1-6 on the season. The Phillies are 1-5, taking a 3-2 Reds today. They actually have a doubleheader as well. The Twins are 4-2. The Astros are 3-4. We have Reds Phillies on at 3:05. We have them on again, I believe. No, we don't. All right, there's no doubleheader today. Astros Twins are on at 4:10 today. I want to see this doubleheader might be taking place later on, I'm guessing. I'm assuming it's either today or tomorrow. Not that I see right now at this point, but you got A's Rays on later on. You got Dodgers Diamondbacks. You got Blue Jays Angels, Royals and Giants, White Sox and Pirates. Sorry, I just had to catch a fly there. Marlins Mets. You have Rangers Cubs. I want to see this doubleheader is taking place tomorrow. I guess it's not. Saturday's edition doesn't look like there's a doubleheader going on either. Huh. I guess the doubleheader is not happening unless it's happening Easter weekend, which, by the way, Easter is this Sunday. So if anybody who's into Easter right now, go spend time with your family. Go eat a meal. Anyway, so that's what the story is right now going forward. The Phillies are really the biggest surprise to start the season out here. I was not expecting this team to go 1-5, let alone the fact that I'll get swept by the Texas Rangers. That one really caught me off guard. I really didn't see that one coming. Really did not see that one coming at all yesterday. A lot of games postponed yesterday. There were at least 4 games postponed yesterday due to the weather as of this weekend. Red Sox, though, they got to be better than what they're advertised. They have to be at this point. And it seemed like easy pickings now at this point because I'm not so sure if I really trust the Yankees at this point. They remain in second place at this point. I don't know. I have my doubts. They've had some really crappy starts really at this point. They barely survived the Giants series. They really have not been that hot of a start, really. I mean, Judge and Stanton are the only one really carrying the team once again, which is not surprising. It's their pitching that does all the work, and it's Judge and Stanton that just carries the team. I mean, there's not much there. Rizzo does some, but not too much. I will say this, though, about the surprising team at this point, which is the Braves. They're 6-1. They're hot right now. They're on a hot start right now at this point. It seems like now, once again, they're going to run away with their division. That's what it looks like right now early in the season. Nationals, they're all done. At this point, Steven Strasburg is just there just to get his jersey retired, I'm assuming, with Washington. At this point, he's loyal to that franchise. I don't know why. I personally, I'd get traded somewhere else. But that team's not going anywhere, the Nationals. Brewers are 5-1. The Pirates are 4-2. The Reds are 3-2. The Cubs are 2-3. The Cardinals are 2-4. A little surprising the Cardinals are 2-4. I really thought the Cardinals would be a little bit better than most teams. They're definitely better than the Pirates. I don't see the Pirates are going to make a run for it this year. The Reds, early start, early hot advantage. The Cubs, they're mediocre at best. They're not that great. Dodgers are 5-2. The Giants are 3-3. The Rockies are 3-4. The Padres are 3-4, and the Dodgers are 3-4. All three-way tie for third. The Padres started out the year not so great against the Rockies. In fact, I think they even up against the Rockies. And so far, they've lost 2 straight. They won one game, I believe, and they lost a game. They lost another game. So I thought the Padres would be a lot better than what they're advertised right now at this point. Very surprising that they started out really slim. With the pickup of Bogarts, they got Juan Soto. I thought that team would be a little bit different. I thought they'd be a step above the Giants and the Dodgers. It seems like they're just the same old Padres to me. I don't know. That just seems surprising. That really does seem surprising in so many ways. Bruins were on last night. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in an overtime game 2-1. Swayman had 31 saves in the game. Pasternak had a goal last night. I think it came within the third period. Actually, it was a game-winning goal last night in overtime. All right, Charlie Coyle got the one of the first goals right now late in the third period. This looked like it was going to be a 1-0 shutout in favor of Toronto, but Coyle and Pasternak got gave him life, especially that overtime. That overtime almost turned out to be a shootout. The Bruins are now 61-12-5. The Maple Leafs are 46-21-11. Bruins have already won the President's Trophy at this point, so it looks like they're going to be on their way of a deep playoff run if they can get that far. Sometimes they always choke. Sometimes they always, don't show up. Second round Blues, they've had issues before in the playoffs with Swayman. Yolmark, I think, should be the goalie number one in the running here. First 3 games, I'd say give yourself some Yolmark. Throw it in there with Swayman, throw them a curveball. That's how I would do it if I'm the Bruins at this point during this playoff run. If you sweep them, great. You move on. You do the exact same rotation, I think. Seriously. Because I think the Bruins are going to sweep somebody in the first round of the playoffs. I just can't imagine there being a 5 or 6 game series. With how good this Bruin team is, I just can't imagine it happening. I'll give you the rest of the scores from last night. The Florida Panthers beat the Ottawa Senators 7-2. Buffalo Sabres and Detroit Red Wings went the distance. Buffalo went into Detroit, got a shootout win over the Red Wings 7-6. Penguins beat the Wilds 4-1. Hurricanes were shut out by the Nashville Predators in Nashville 3-0. St. Louis Blues in overtime against the Rangers, beating them 3-2 in St. Louis. Dallas at home getting the win over the tanking Philadelphia Flyers 4-1. Vancouver Canucks beating the tanking Chicago Blackhawks 3-0 at home. Avalanche go to San Jose. They put up 6 goals and they get the 6-2 win over the Sharks. Montreal Canadiens beat the Washington Capitals 6-2. New Jersey Devils 8-1 win over Columbus. They destroyed the Blue Jackets. The Lightning are dead. Okay, they got the loss last night against the New York Islanders 6-1. They lost badly in the worst way possible. Tampa Bay did. Tampa Bay is not going to make it out of the first round. I'm calling it right now. That team is not making it out of the first round. No matter who they play, if it's Toronto, whoever the case may be, Toronto wants revenge. Tampa Bay is washed up. They're no good. They're tired. They're not going to have any energy going to this playoff run. That's it. I'm calling it like right now. See, Tampa Bay was starting to get hot last year. They were starting to get head-to-head with Toronto a little bit at this point. Toronto had the advantage, I think. I think Tampa Bay here is just washed up and done. They have not been convincing to me that they're going to have a deep run in the playoffs, let alone a chase and another Stanley Cup. So I don't know. They're not sniffing it right now. Vegas Golden Knights got the 5-2 win over the Kings. And the Seattle Kraken beat the Arizona Coyotes last night 4-2. There's no games on today, which is surprising. I don't know why. But tomorrow, it's going to be Pittsburgh Penguins and Red Wings. We have Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Dallas Stars in Dallas. Edmonton Oilers taking on the San Jose Sharks. The Rangers of New York. I don't even know why I even said it like that, but it's New York Rangers taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Montreal Canadiens at the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we have a little Canada hockey action. We have Florida Panthers at the Washington Capitals. We have the Nashville Predators at Winnipeg Jets. Philadelphia Flyers at the New York Islanders. The Devils at the Boston Bruins. Probably the best game on tomorrow for hockey. Saturday night, 8 o'clock. That should be awesome. You got Blackhawks at the Seattle Kraken. You got the Colorado Avalanche at the LA Kings. And apparently this is taking out at 12:30. Carolina Hurricanes and Buffalo Sabres. We're not done here. Anaheim Ducks at Arizona Coyotes at 5:30. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning at the Ottawa Senators. St. Louis Blues at the Minnesota Wild. And we have the Calgary Flames at the Vancouver Canucks. We might as well send a wellness check out to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're dying to death right now at this point. They're barely surviving. Their goaltending this year has not been good. Their losses of what they have for a dynasty at this point is killing them. All the players that lost during the offseason and when they went to go sign somewhere else, it's biting them in the ass. It really is. And Colorado lost some players too, but at least Colorado is getting hot at the right time. Lightning are ice cold at this point. That's the only difference. So I'll have my scores on those games probably tomorrow. Probably as I go, because I'll be here tomorrow going live. I'm going to AEW show tonight at the Ryan Center at URI. So that should be interesting. So enough sports talk. I'm going to see more of the sports talk tomorrow. We're going to do something that we don't normally do here, and we're going to just do the entire show on the stuff that I got this week, which I'm going to start off with the news I got the other day, actually. And it's actually about Shrek. Everybody remembers Shrek, right? Well, there's going to be a Shrek 5. There's been 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're getting Shrek 5. As I'm trying to find the story. Here it is. This is according to Screen Rant at this point. And Shrek 5 is in the development with Michael Myers, Cameron Diaz, and Eddie Murphy returning. This is what I think of the whole thing. I think it's going to be great. I like the Shrek series. I really do. I think at this point, I said a long time ago that there would be probably 6 Shrek movies. The fact that they waited this long for Shrek 5, I just think it's kind of weird. Unless this is the final. Look, usually when they wait this long, and everybody seems to want to watch more of the Shrek series. There's been a lot of Shrek movies on every single week on TBS, on Nickelodeon. Sometimes it's been on. You can get on streaming channels right now at this point on Netflix. I think you can get it on Hulu. You can get it on. I think it's IRP. My friend was telling me about that. He only paid $60 for the year for his streaming series. I'm pretty sure they have it on there as well. It'll be available anywhere. Streaming devices. You can go to movie theaters and watch it. IMAX, Showcase Cinemas, Regal Cinemas in Connecticut. I will say this though. Out of all the movie theaters I liked as a kid growing up, I will say this: the Regal Cinemas has Showcase and IMAX beat. I think personally, IMAX has got the big ass screen. Don't get me wrong, they do. But that screen always hurt my eyes. I was always annoyed with that big ass screen. I just thought to myself, the screen was bigger than the actual movie theater itself. I mean, it took up most of the entire thing. It was, and the seats sometimes were uncomfortable. Every time I went to an IMAX theater, I'd say to myself, this was really bad. And that was back then when the seats were way far back, but the lumbar on it, support on it was crap. It was not a comfortable seat at all. They've gotten better over the years. They changed their stuff around. I don't know if they have reclinings in their movie theater. I don't believe they do. Showcase I know does. Oh, they're starting to do it now at this point. Regal I know always had the reclining chairs. In fact, I think they first got the reclining chairs back in I want to say it was 2012, 2013. But yeah, that was great. This is what the article says here though about the Shrek movie though. After years of rumors and false starts, Shrek 5 is now officially in development with Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, and Eddie Murphy all expected to return. The first Shrek was released in 2001, kickstarting a successful franchise that now includes 4 feature films and several spin-offs, including the recent Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, Myers Shrek's Last Grace, the big screen in 2010, Shrek Forever, but a 5th outing never came to fruition. So it's been 13 years since they had another Shrek movie came out, which I never saw. I don't believe I saw the 4th one in theaters. I think I may have watched it on TV. Anyway, in a recent interview with Variety, however, Illumination founder and CEO Chris Maldonari, who is also creative partner to DreamWorks Animation, confirms that Shrek 5 is now in development with Myers, Diaz, and Murphy in talks to return as Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey, respectively. While no story details are available just yet, Maldonari teases that the new movie would honor the original films while also blazing new ground. Check out Maldonari's comments regarding Shrek 5. This is what he had to say, quote, "It's not that dissimilar to the process that we went through with Mario, where you look at what core elements that our audiences have loved, and you do your very best to honor those core elements, and then you are handed a work at build story to build story elements, and new characters that take you to a brand new place. The original cast is a huge part of that. We anticipate the cast coming back. Talks are starting now, and every indication that we've gotten is there's tremendous enthusiasm on behalf of the actors to return." By the way, there's going to be also a Donkey single thing at this point where the Donkey will have his own movie. So, and here's what my thought was. I thought the Donkey always should have gotten his first film on his own. Why it took 5 Shrek developments for that to happen, I have no idea. And the one that's playing the Donkey is Eddie Murphy. Why wouldn't have Eddie Murphy do his own thing with the Donkey at this point? Why wouldn't they actually just go through with this? I've always wondered that for years when I've watched the Shrek series. I never really understood that. I thought that was strange. I thought the fact that they never had their own Donkey series, but they waited so long for a Puss in Boots series is beyond me. I thought the whole thing was dumb. And now they're having a new series now with Puss in Boots, where I think it's like the 9 lives thing now at this point. So I guess they're gonna have basically the cat who's gonna try to survive these tasks at this point. He's running out of lives at this point. He's on his last life. Look, in reality, they might just kill the whole thing off, and that's probably why they want to do the Donkey series anyway. I mean, think about it. They're running out of ideas now for the Puss in Boots character. And they're finally thinking, why don't we just give Donkey a chance? Which really they should have done Donkey first and then Puss in Boots later on. Donkey was never stale. I'm just saying, I don't get it. I don't get why that happened. I don't get why they went with Puss in Boots to start off with to begin with. I never understood that. But anyway, it isn't in the development. I think it's great for the Shrek, for DreamWorks animation at this point. It helps their stock out in a major way. And who knows, it might come out in 2025. I mean, it doesn't seem like, or 2024. It could come out this year. My prediction is that it comes out in 2 years. I don't know what it is. I think they keep the people waiting. They instead of having it 13 years in the making, make it 15 years in the making. You're better off. It builds, it makes you more money, gives you more time. Because now at this point, you're already 4 months into the new year. So there's really no point of rushing into it now and trying to get released next year. You get it out in 2025, and I promise you, DreamWorks will make a ton of money in the 15-year series of Shrek. And then you wait another 15 years and make it a 30-year anniversary. That's the way you got to do it, because that was the last Shrek movie that came out, was Shrek and Forever in 2010. That was the last movie that came out for Shrek. So think about it that way. You build it up. You make people wait. They can wait another couple of years. It's not a big deal. It's the best way to make some money. Believe me, it really is. Anyway, let's more. We're gonna go from happy news to sad news. This is a staggering story. This is actually what has been told here. There's been reports going out right now of a sex abuse in Maryland. This is according to the Los Angeles Times. This is more than 150 Catholic priests and others associated with the Archdiocese of Baltimore sexually abused more than 600 children over the last 80 years, according to a state report released Wednesday that accused church officials of decades of covering it up. I'm not going to read the rest of the article, because the rest of the article made me want to throw when I read it last night. The reality of it is, this is disgusting. It's just flat out gross. There's no other way of putting it. 150 priests have abused, sexually assaulted, verbally assaulted these kids. It's disgusting. They tricked these innocent kids into the church. No wonder why these schools want to have their kids change their genders. They don't want these people to believe in God because they got priests out there abusing sexually these kids. It's absolutely gross. It's horrifying to even imagine. If I had a child that was ever abused sexually by a freaking priest, I don't care if you're a priest or not, I'm punching you right in the freaking face. I don't care if you're a priest or not. One shot in the face, in your nose, bam, you're knocked out. I wouldn't put them in a rear naked choke because they probably might actually like it. They're freaks out there. There's something wrong with these freaking people. For decades, they've covered this up. They should close down the church. If you ask me, there's a lot of non-believers out there of God out there right now. I can see why. But I'm going to read a little bit more of this. The report paints a damaging picture of the Archdiocese, which is the oldest Roman Catholic, I can't even read that, in the country. The oldest Catholic church in the country. And it spans much of Maryland. Some parishes and schools and congregations have more than one abuser at the same time, including St. Mark Parish in Catsonville, which had 11 abusers living and working there between 1964 and 2004. The Maryland Attorney General's office issued the report during Holy Week, considered the most scarred time of the year in Christianity ahead of Easter Sunday. What a great time to bring this out now, 2 days before Easter, right? Isn't that wonderful? And said the number of victims is probably far higher. That's what they said. Quote, the staggering pervasiveness of the abuse itself underscores the culpability of the church hierarchy, the report said. The sheer number of abusers and victims, the depravity of the abusers' conduct, and the frequency with which known abusers were given the opportunity to continue preying upon their children are astonishing. I think it's disgusting. It's astounding and disgusting in so many ways. How, and those people look up for people for worship, for belief, for purpose, for reason, for why we go to church every Sunday. And here they are. And I know this is not the first time. There's been cases about this stuff for years. But this is on a whole nother level of 40 to 50 years of decading, maybe even 60 years of decading of abuse. And why? Because deep down, these priests don't believe in God. They don't believe in anything. They don't believe in a shred of anything. They just take it because they're there for the money. They take it because they can't really get a girlfriend. So in their minds, they could just abuse children instead. Because that's the closest thing they're going to reach. They're trying to reach the children. They're not trying to reach adults who already believe in God. By doing what you're doing, you're just basically taking that faith away from them. That's all you're doing. There's no real story behind this. Besides the fact that a priest decided to stick his dingling out and just harm children who don't even know the meaning of sex yet at this point. You want to know how I know the meaning of sex? All I gotta do is watch some Adult Swim shows that talk about sex, and that's it. That's how I found out. The priests want to teach you about, the birds and the bees and, Mother Mary and all this other stuff right now, but they want to show it more than actually want to tell it. That's the way I look at it. It's disgusting. This is what another quote was also brought up here. Quote, "It is difficult for most to imagine that such evil acts could have actually occurred," Laurie said. This is what William Laurie had said, the Baltimore Archbishop. "For victim survivors everywhere, they know the hard truth. These evil acts did occur." Which, honestly, at this point, by coming out and saying it now at this point, the damage is already done. There's no other way of justifying this whole situation. There really isn't. And I think it's sad that we live in a society nowadays where these people out there are finally speaking out after 60 plus years. And the numbers are continuing to rise. This is not just happening in Maryland. It happens all over the country. And people are they're losing faith in God itself. That's what you're doing to these kids. Because deep down, I think these priests that want to be priests, they're not doing it for the right reasons. They don't want to believe in God. They just want to have the power. Because you can't strike a priest, God forbid, because you'll be a person against God where you gotta hit a priest in the face. It's like hitting a woman in the face. If you're a man, you can't do that. Can't do it to a priest either. So, I mean, it's messed up. It's twisted. I hate it. I hate stories like this. This actually pisses me off. It actually pisses me off even talking about it on this podcast here. I really wasn't even trying to go deep with it. But it is what it is. It's sad. It really is. More horrifying news to talk about right now. Harvard students were traumatized after being held at gunpoint. This is also according to Newsbreak and also according to The Hill. At least 4 undergrad students at Harvard were held at gunpoint by campus police officers following a false police call about an armed individual in the campus dorms on Monday morning. The 4 seniors, who are Black, told the Harvard Crimson that they were asleep in their Levert House dorm suite around 4 a.m. on Monday morning when a loud banging on the door woke them. Shortly after, at least 5 armed Harvard University police officers entered the suite, pointed their rifles at the students, and instructed them to exit their rooms with their hands raised. Quote, we're all extremely scared, particularly because my roommates and I are Black students who have been bombarded our whole lives with stories and images portraying how situations such as this had ended up terribly. One of the residents, Jara K. Cotton, told the Crimson, quote, we felt our lives were in danger. We are traumatized. In a statement, HUP Chief Victory Clay confirmed they received 3 calls over the course of nearly an hour from a male who said he had a female hostage he had attempted to fatally injure, but clarified that the hostage was still alive. The caller started that he had been a student at Harvard this semester, but had been kicked out, Clay said. Clay added that caller had detailed the information on how the dormitories are referenced by community members. By the 3rd time he called, the caller said he was armed. Quote, he first threatened to shoot law enforcement who entered the room, and then later threatened to leave the room, and then they would start shooting as he did so, Clay said. HUP called the 2 seniors, both female students, before arriving on the scene, but The two told the Crimson they were asleep at the time of the calls and did not answer. At about 4:15, the officers knocked on the door of the room. According to the Clay statement, officers did announce their presence to the residents, and they were able to enter the suite with a key. The statement confirmed that the officers were armed and the students were directed to exit their suite into the hallway with their hands visible to ensure that no one possessed a weapon, based on the indicators by the caller that a weapon was present in the room. A search of the room by HEP found there were no injuries or threat. This is a terrifying experience for all these college kids out there. They wonder why these kids don't even want to go to college at the time and waste their money, which is what college really is, a waste of money, unless you're getting a job out of it, to some people. To me, it wasn't a waste. I'm glad I got my bachelor's degree from URI. But when you hear stuff like this, and the kid, saying all these things that how he had a girl held hostage, he was kicked out of college. This kid was literally out there, if you ask me. And it was a false police call, which was apparent. Swatting incident, a type of harassment that deliberately calls for police officers SWAT teams to respond to fabricated dangerous situations. Though swatting has received increased attention over the last few years as high-profile celebrities have been the victims of such incidents, swatting can be deadly, and it can be. I think these guys sometimes need to cool it down for a little bit. I don't know if this was a planted guy who was undercover doing this, but that's what it seems like to me. There was no reason to put these kids in danger at a college university now, where they're scarred for life now at this point. I'm just saying, when you want to send these kids to school, you try and teach them something. You're not trying to scar them for life. Just don't do it. It's just dumb. It's a dumb way of teaching these kids. So don't bother doing it. Anyway, I just think that was a little bit ridiculous, a little out there, if you ask me. Robert F. Kennedy formally announced in Boston yesterday that he is running for president. This is a guy that doesn't believe in the COVID vaccination. He went on to say. I look at it like this. If Trump don't win, I kind of hope this guy does. He's got my vote. As far as I'm concerned, made the announcement yesterday running for president. I believe I don't know if he's a Democrat or Republican. Not 100% sure on that one. Not 100% accurate on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s stance as far as political party goes. I don't care what his party is. I don't care. Kennedy is a Democrat, 69 years old, the oldest son of Senator Robert F. Kennedy, who was assassinated back in the campaign for president back in 1968. Where'd I figure that much? I figured he was the oldest son of the senator. I didn't think he was the youngest. And I figured he was in his late 60s anyway, so I figured that made a lot of sense. I haven't really heard his name in a while, so I kind of forgot what he looked like. But yeah, he's going to be running for president. And I kind of hope he, at this point, I know he's a Democrat, and the status quo would say the same thing. It would be the same thing either way if it was a Republican. I feel like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would do more as a Democrat. I feel like he's the only guy out there who was similar to Bill Clinton. As crazy as it sounds, who's similar to Robert F. Kennedy Sr., who's similar to John F. Kennedy. I think that guy would do a hell of a lot more. And I hope he runs for president. I hope he doesn't get swatted out of the way. Doesn't get victimized by Hillary Clinton along the way. I hope he doesn't follow in her mumble jumble, because that'd be the worst thing for this country to have, is to have her beliefs poison his mind. That's the way I look at it. I don't want that guy to have his mind poisoned. There was a rumor going around about Reese Witherspoon and Tom Brady. They both responded to their date rumors right now. Reese Witherspoon is going through a deep divorce. Tom Brady saying it. I guess they've never met before. I guess supposedly. I don't know what the exact quote of it was offhand. When I first heard about this, I thought it was fake news. And it even says here on Pop Culture that they're not dating. At the speculation sparked, the actress and retired NFL player were dating. The dating following news. They called their representatives called the rumors completely false. In denial to the People magazine. Dating rumors started following the Legally Blonde star announcement that late last month that she had officially filed for divorce from her husband, Jim Toth, after 12 years. It was a great deal of care and consideration that we had made the difficult decision to divorce, wrote the former couple who shared a 10-year-old son in Tennessee. We have enjoyed so many wonderful years together and are moving forward with deep love, kindness, and mutual respect for everything we have created together. Our biggest priority is our son and our entire family as we navigate the next chapter. And Brady had to say, quote, "We have arrived at the decision emphatically with gratitude for the time we spent together. We are blessed with beautiful and wonderful children who will continue to be the center of our world in every way. We will continue to work together as parents to always ensure they receive the love and attention they deserve," Brady wrote on his Instagram story upon announcing the split. "We arrived at this decision to end our marriage after much consideration." So this was nothing to do with trying to hug with Reese Witherspoon. It really didn't. It was more like Giselle grew out of love with Tom Brady, even though it was really more than the fact that he didn't like the fact that he unretired. That's all you really need to know. Vince McMahon under investigation for a possible violation of the sale in Denver, which, when is this guy never under investigation for anything? Scott Pollock on the report that the pending sale of WWE to Endeavor Group Holdings is under investigation. Fleece Upton of Ringside News noted Tuesday that Adam LLP, a law firm that specializes in shareholder litigation, announced it is looking into whether WWE Board of Directors obtained a fair and reasonable price in the sale process. WWE shares are only approximately at 106 per share before any post-closing dividend, with Endeavor holding a 51% controlling interest in the new company, and existing WWE shareholders holding a 49% interest in the new company as well. The transaction agreement unreasonably limits competing bids for WWE by imposing a significant penalty if WWE accepts a superior bid. WWE insiders will receive a substantial benefits as part of change of control and arrangements. To me, I think this is just another speculation, just another Vince McMahon problem that he will try to solve and have an NDA signed and they shut their mouths and keep him, quiet. That's all this is going to be. To me, Jordan Valensky on CNN reported Monday that WWE mergers are Endeavor Group, which is parent company of UFC, valued at $12.1 billion, and WWE at $9.3 billion. After the deal, Endeavor's shareholders would own 51% of the new company, and with the other 49% belonging to WWE shareholders. Vince McMahon also remain the executive chairman. So the guy is going to be in control, running Monday Night Raw, running Friday Night SmackDown, basically yelling at his announcers' headsets. It took Triple H out of the chair completely. It really did. You can go by WrestleMania Night 2 as a complete example of that. Although Night 2 was actually not as bad as people thought it would be. I thought the finish to that Reigns and Cody Rhodes match was a dumb finish with Solo interfering in the match. You don't do that in the main event of WrestleMania. You just don't. You don't have that to finish. I'm sorry. You just don't have it. To me, this was Vince McMahon running in power again for that decision right now. That was a Vince McMahon move. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if he was running Night 2 and not running Night 1. To me, it wouldn't surprise me for two reasons. One, because the way that whole finish turned out and the way of Vince McMahon sticking it to Cody Rhodes, getting revenge on Cody Rhodes for going to AEW and making a mockery of WWE and all this other crap, and really Vince McMahon putting his foot down against Triple H, doing his best to make the company better. And I think deep down, Vince McMahon, wants to destroy the WWE just so he can own UFC. That's all this is. To take away a creation he created over 40 years ago, trash it, tarnish it, really to make something bad for himself, make something, go worse than it already is. It sucks. I hate it. I hate the idea he's back in power, and I think deep down, and it was according to Planet Productions, which I listened to their podcast the other day, saying how he came back just to kill it. Kill whatever cool vibe it had, make it completely fully scripted again, and to the point where no one enjoys it, just so he can shut it down and own UFC. That's what the whole thing of it is. Get close with Brock Lesnar, who said he's a former UFC superstar. I don't know. To me, it's sad. It really is. I don't know what the story is right now at this point with Vince is going to be at this point. Is he going to be really in control? Does Triple H still have control of it? I think Vince McMahon still has all total control now at this point. It's going back to the old usual Vince McMahon run show, and it's sad. I don't think they should do this. I really don't. I think it's a mistake. and they can't come back from this. If Vince McMahon is in that chair, in control, there's going to be a huge problem with this company. I'm telling you that right now, a huge problem. Don Lehman, actually, before I get into the Don Lehman story, restricted district court judge died this past week. This is actually according to the, let's see what article this is coming from here. See, I love how I'm trying to open this on my laptop and I can't even get this thing to load. According to WPRI News, Michael Higgins, that served on the bench from 1980 to 2010, was appointed as an administrative judge in 2000, served as an acting chief judge from 2008 until his retirement. Had passed away. He was, I want to say, he doesn't really say how old he was here. Huh. It's really weird. I don't know why he didn't say how old he was. He was, let's see. Everyone was sad by his passing. So the entire judiciary was deeply sad by Judge Higgins' passing. Rhode Island Supreme Court Chief Justice Paul A. Suttle said he served the court and the people of Rhode Island with great distinction for 29 years. We are grateful for his service and send our condolences to his family. Attorney P. Nolan wrote that he had fond memories of Judge Higgins and that he knew him since becoming a district court prosecutor in 1996. He said, quote, I spent hundreds of hours in his chambers, in his courtroom, and watched as he dispensed justice with wisdom and grace. Norona said, he loved the law, sports, and his family most of all. I will miss him very much and will keep a thought up for all his family. Higgins' wake will be held Tuesday, April 11th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Fagan Quinn Funeral Home. Yeah, so that's very sad news that he had passed away. I was stunned to hear that news, actually. Really was stunned to hear that news. I think I don't know if I've ever met him before, I don't believe, unless I'm thinking of a different judge. But, when you got a guy who's well-respected in the judicial system passing away like that for, I want to say he was in his 80s, I want to say he was. Or even I was in his mid-70s. But I've heard his name before. I recognize the name. I've heard it. I've heard cases like that about him in the news, district cases in the news. So very sad that he passed away. A former Narragansett High School student awarded $75,000 after an assault settlement, and it was according to an officer here. This is what I love stories like this because it gets me intrigued. I'll get into Don Lehman stuff and the other non-sports stuff here in just a second. So this is what the news said. So video showed that student resource officer Kyle Rooney talking to Narragansett High School student Michael Blanchie moments before the altercation on February 9, 2018. The American Civil Liberties Union of Rhode Island announced that on Monday that it has settled a lawsuit against the Narragansett school system on behalf of a former student injured in the incident captured on the high school surveillance system in 2018. I don't have the video in front of me. I can't really share the video, and otherwise YouTube won't even allow me to even share it anyway, so it's inappropriate. The district has agreed to pay $75,000 in the damages to Michael Blanchard, who was a student with special educational needs at the Narragansett High School when he was thrown to the floor in a hallway by student resource officer Kyle Rooney. The school district did not admit liability in the incident, the ACLU notes. Rhode Island Current reaches out to Narragansett School System for a comment and received this email response. Quote, we're referring to all questions on this case to the Narragansett Police Department as we don't comment on litigation. Now, this is what the police chairman, Chief Sean Corrigan said. Quote, Officer Rooney remains assigned to the high school. There was no fault found in the settlement. NPD thoroughly investigates all use of force incidents, and I maintain my position that in light of the totality of the circumstances, Officer Rooney's actions were lawful and appropriate. I view the settlement as a business decision made in response to a substantial risk and expense of litigation. We're pleased that we're able to settle the suit and get Michael Blanchard some monetary relief, said Stephen Brown, Executive Director of ACLU Rhode Island. This is one of many examples school resource officers missuing their authority in the school setting. Post quote. I heard this story, and my first thought was because I didn't really get to see the video. I don't know why the video wasn't available to me at that moment in time, and I couldn't get the thing to. I couldn't even find the video actually. But I think that officer like that should take. I know the kid's risky. I know people can be risky sometimes, but that kid with special needs. And actually, the more I thought about it, I may have actually were seeing a video when I was watching it when I was a kid. But the fact that this kid's getting summons 5 years later, what's the point now? Where was this award 5 years ago? I've seen kids when I went to that Narragansett High School. I'll never forget it. The kid was doing nothing wrong. He was getting angry about something right now, and they tackled the kid. Basically, didn't get up and threaten to beat anybody up. And the kid with special needs. I'm not gonna say any names, obviously, but I'm pretty sure the guy was attacked. They had a sedative in his hand, and they just went like this to knock him out. He was getting angry. That's all it was. And I think in reality, it's sad because like in reality, like I don't think a teacher should be handling a needle like that and sticking it to the kid's arm. I mean, obviously that's not what happened here, but it's kind of similar. I've seen kids taking guns in high school and threatening to use it on themselves, causing more harm to themselves. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff at that high school over the years. I mean, I've seen teachers even go like teachers, verbally in disagreement about something. I've seen a variety of insane things in that high school that I wish I haven't seen. Hell, I've seen a kid take a crap in someone else's locker. It's not pretty. That school's had a lot of problems over the years. And now they got an officer resource, which this is the first I heard of this one. Why we couldn't have that 5 years ago, I have no idea. Why at my time, I have no idea. Now all of a sudden they have it here. I don't know. Now, granted, they have police officers in the school. I don't know if it's part of a DARE program or what it is, but I mean, at least they have these officers in the school nowadays to prevent all this violence from happening once again. But the kid, that one hit me though. I was just in high school. I was in my freshman year, and the kid, I'm pretty sure, didn't ask for a shot at someone to calm him down. He wasn't threatening the teachers. He didn't harm any students. In fact, he was just trying to go to leave the classroom because he wanted to cool off. And I remember them back then making it even more violent by grabbing onto him when a kid just wanted to walk around for a bit. I don't think he's going to cause harm to himself, obviously, but when I'm in a bad mood and I want to cool off, I would walk over to the classroom too. Why would I want to create more harm, more of a scene in the classroom? But I'll never forget those teachers had a sedative on him. It calmed the kid down. It didn't knock him out. And I don't think the kid signed up for that. I don't think any kid signed up for that, really. I don't think any parent would sign that over saying we have to do this because unless it gets violent, which, I mean, in this case, he wasn't. So I remember seeing that in that high school with him freshman year. I'll never forget it. And I was walking by and I was totally in shock. And I don't think the teachers even noticed I even stared at because I would stare in that room for about 2 or 3 minutes. And I wasn't trying to stare, but when I saw that happen, I just said to myself, like, what are you doing? And I even said, what are you doing? I even said it to them, and no one responded. In fact, I had one teacher to give me a dirty look. I just walked away. Because what was I going to do? I couldn't stop him going there because with my luck, I get drugged too. And then, of course, my parents would pull me out of that school because they're not going to drug me. They're not going to drug this kid. They're not going to drug this face. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because I was just... I read that I couldn't believe this is according to Rhode Island Current, by the way, the name of the article who got the article for me. So thank you for them allowing me to post it on my Facebook. Anyway, let's take a look here. We have actually before we get to Don Lehman, I almost forgot about this one. So Ben Gordon, former NBA player, arrested on a weapons charge in New York after threatening and assaulting people at a juice bar. That's according to CBS Sports' Jason Winbush who wrote the article, was arrested Tuesday morning on a weapons and threatening charges at Connecticut juice shop uh, per the Stanford Advocate. Gordon was arrested on the same day as his 40th birthday. He is being charged with 3 counts of carrying dangerous weapon and 2 counts of misdemeanor and second-degree threatening. He's also being charged with interfering with an officer's 6th-degree larceny and disorderly conduct. Not looking good for the former NBA star. I'll tell you that much right now. He's not looking very good on his birthday. I advise him to get some help. He's having a midlife crisis. Former employee accused of stealing $8 million from Kilos, the former company that he worked for, as according to Newsbreak, which I got that on my phone. It's also according to, I think it was according to the New York Times, I think, or Washington Trust, I think it was, wherever the article came from. This is the one dagger I want to get into right now. We have the Don Lehman story, we have the LeBron dress story, then we're done. Don Lehman's sending threatening text messages to a co-star of his on a CNN show after she beat him to a reporting gig. Sources tell Variety. Don Lehman reportedly sent anonymous threatening text messages to co-anchor in 2008. This took place. This didn't take place recently. The message warned that the co-anchor was going to pay for it. An anonymous source told Variety. Lehman said the allegations were false. CNN declined to corroborate the alleged events from 15 years ago. Listen, I look at it like this. This wouldn't surprise me if Don Lehman was like this and it ended up being fake later on. Look, if he did, he made a mistake. You know, that's the way I look at it. If he was doing it now, he'd get fired for the job. It's that simple. You just don't threaten somebody like that over the thing. I actually think Don Lehman's been fake anyway all his life. I never liked the guy. He's phony. He's a phony reporter. He's a phony CNN guy who really doesn't report really by his heart, by his brain, just to play into people's emotions. He does. He's not a real reporter, in my opinion. He's not Brian Williams from Nightly News on NBC. He's just not. He's not. I would say. Oh God, who's a good reporter? I can't even think of it now. He's not Piers Morgan. You know, he's passionate about his reporting. He's not trying to get a 15 seconds of frame. He's a real reporter. Charles Barkley, who's a NBA analyst, he's unfiltered. He'll say anything. You know, he's not trying to get clout. Don Lehman, in this case here, is trying to get clout without even trying to get clout. And sending threatening messages to a co-anchor, to me, would be his deal, would be his gig. Because behind the scenes, I think he's a phony human being. I really think he is. LeBron James this week was on a wasn't even on a podcast. It was talked about on a podcast. It's Black and White Sports, the podcast. Wearing a pink dress going viral. Trans LeBron going to, and this is according to the YouTube video, going to the WNBA. So this is what report it said. LeBron James busted wearing a pink dress and goes viral. Is this real? Trans LeBron going to the WNBA?
Studs? No.
This is what they reported started.
Now, guys, we are not LeBron James fans whatsoever.
I'm not.
We're not. I saw this story here. Actually, the Hodge twins actually put up a video, and I was stunned by the title of the video. LeBron James wearing a pink dress. Now, we know that LeBron James is definitely soft, especially when it comes to engaging with fans. If you actually say anything about LeBron James and you're critical of him because you're rooting for the other team, LeBron James tries to get you thrown out of basketball games. And that has been a very, very bad trend that's been going on in the NBA. I mean, it's really bad, guys. You got Draymond Green out there, Kyrie Irving doing it, other players also, because they looked up to LeBron James. They say, you know what? We can't take any criticism. We got to put on a pink dress, whine and complain, and get the fans removed. But now, guys, LeBron James is going viral for a photo circulating of him actually in a pink dress.
Couldn't believe it.
I actually kind of laughed at this. I mean, I just really finished watching the Hodge Twins video like a few minutes ago. It was funny. It was really, really funny, guys. But right here, and this was actually from like 3 days ago. Photos of LeBron James in a pink skirt while carrying a purse go viral. Are they real? Now, seeing an NBA player in like a dress, that's not too surprising now because remember, Russell Westbrook actually did wear a dress.
That's right. He did.
He did. That was a real photo right there. This one here, not so much, I believe. Not so much. This is a good job here. Actually, if we go over here to Twitter, you can actually see this right here. And this is a story that's going around here. Look at this one here.
So that was on Black and White Sports, the podcast network. I forgot who the I know Rose Rance, the other that was not him, obviously, on the reporting there. If people have heard of that podcast, they know the other guy's name. I always draw a blank in his name because I like listening to Road Rants better because he's not as monotone as he is. So, and I'm monotone too, so I can't really even comment on the whole thing. But this has got to be real. I go on Twitter and I see it like a developing story. Like I don't even have my own account, but it's just I look at that story and I see the tweets and I say to myself, "Good God, this will be LeBron James." All of his NBA players are all sensitive. It's not even wokeness anymore at this point. You want to know what it is? They're all sensitive. You can't have an opinion. You're not allowed to have a voice. You're not allowed to be able to say anything. You're just here to watch the game, shut your mouth, pay them money. That's what you're supposed to do now in an NBA game. And honestly, at this point, you can't say anything bad about the players. You can't say anything bad about the children. Not even swearing things. They're not even swearing half the time, these fans that go to these games. But you want to know something? It's kind of pathetic when you have to look at the facts going into it, which is this is sad. LeBron James wearing a pink dress like this, and he wants to go to the WNBA. Look, listen, I've been saying this for months. Bring Brittany Griner in, who's got more balls than most of these NBA players combined, and send LeBron James, the female guy who has no balls, who might as well have a kuka more than a dick, and have him go to the NBA because you hurt his little feelings. You made fun of his family. Kick the fans out. He's phony. You want to know why people look up to LeBron James? Here's the reason why they look up to LeBron James. They think the guy's more intelligent. They figured, why did I waste my time in college? I want his money. That's all it is. They look at a guy who never went to college, who got drafted out of the NBA, who worked hard in his craft at basketball. But they don't look into that. They look past that into his mindset, which is his phony wokeness at this point. Because really none of these players care about the fans. They don't care about the fans. They care about their hard-earned money. They'll buy their shoes. They'll buy their merch. They'll buy the shirt. They'll buy the clothes to look like the players. I've seen these NBA players today and what they come up with. I want to say suit and ties are the way to go. Don't wear these freaking bullshit clothes that make you look like a woman or make you look like a transvestite. Just don't do it. Seriously, it's ridiculous. It's retarded. You know, I hear this and I want to vomit in my mouth. But LeBron James wearing a pink dress to me, it's kind of funny. That goes to show right now he wants to be the next Bruce Jenner and go to Caitlyn Jenner. And instead of being called LeBron, he should be called LaRonda. Because that's what he looks like to me. Looks like a transgender chick named LaRonda. There you go. There's my freaking hot take of the day. God, I hear stuff like this and it boils my mind. How people look up to this guy and worship him. He's not a guy to worship at all. It's annoying. It's really sad, actually. I hear that. I'm like, oh, God, I want to vomit. Maryland man facing years in prison after calling his ex-girlfriend 815 times in 2 days. Talk about the word stalking right there. That is stalking at its finest. 100%. I will have some NBA and NFL news stories tomorrow. I will give you highlights of the Red Sox tomorrow, whether or not they did a good job tonight against the Tigers or not. They're playing later on today. I'll give you round 1 and round 2 of the golf Masters tomorrow in Augusta. And I'm signing off here. You know the drill. You know my social media. It's Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me there. Like I said before, you can find most of my videos on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, posting stuff on Facebook. It'll take you right to the feed. What I'll do is I'll post the feed on Facebook. I'll put on my Instagram story. Sometimes I put on my Snapchat story. For whatever reason lately, though, it has not worked on Snapchat. So I'll try to get that fixed today. And I'm signing off. I'm done. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.